Hi all, today we have a short sync up about Jenkins acceptance test harness and Java 11. So in the platform special interest group, we are working on Java 11 support, and there is a good progress there. So effectively, we had a meeting on Monday where you can find all the information. It's linked from platform-sig page. And one of the blockers we have right now to release preview availability in Jenkins is actually test automation, because we want to have some test automation. And yeah, Jenkins test harness is kind of done now. There is good progress with PCT. There is good progress with acceptance test harness by Oliver. And yeah, at this meeting, I would like to just sync up on acceptance test harness to understand how we can run it, how to test it, and what is more important, how we can help to get this task finalized. So I have created a sync up document. So I'll just post it in the platform-sig chat. Just a second. Oh yeah, I don't share my screen, right?
Yeah, you're not.
No, you're not.
Oh, okay.
Until now, it wasn't very.
Yeah, so I worked the recording again, but whatever. It's an internal thing. Okay, so I've pasted the link to the status document here in platform-sig. So effectively, what we have now, yeah, there is a status update presentation I was talking about. So it's linked here. It just lists all the current information and current progress. And yeah, there is a pull request by Oliver, which actually adds support for Java 11. So it looks to be relatively small, but I believe that there are some upstream changes which are quite related to that, like Selenium 3 and whatever. So maybe, Oliver, you could briefly describe the current status and what's left to be done there?
Right, I certainly can. As you surely know, we started, putting things together on a Hackfest at Nice. And at that point, the automation was broken because of switch to Selenium 3 and Selenium 2 stopped working for us. So ultimately, the quite big change was integrated yesterday. So I started following with this work. Actually, the first decent build of the effort I got running this morning, not any sooner. So we're finally getting some test results. There are some failures. I managed to briefly look at where we are. We are still identifying some problems, both in the test suite and in some of the pipeline plugins. So it would be up to us to have a look at that result. I expect it to complete sometime this afternoon today. Have a look at where we are, and we can start working. Up until now, it was all just getting the thing, getting the test suite started and running. But we're past that phase, so we can start have a look at the test failures.
Yeah, right. With regards to pipeline plugins, there is actually a pending work for that. So there is a Jenkins workflow support plugin, pull requests, and yeah, there is Java 11 support. Yeah, actually, there is multiple pull requests. Currently, we have this one, Java 11 support clean version. So this is what you need to include into your build if you want to test the pipeline. So here's the latest snapshot I created yesterday, because Baptiste also does experiments with Evergreen, and we needed to upstream that. So yeah, in order to run anything against pipeline, you need that. Otherwise, pipeline just hangs.
And that's, sorry to interrupt, that's a new version of a plugin, or a completely new plugin we have to throw in?
It's a new version of the plugin. So pipeline support plugin is the engine which actually includes serialization context. So the problem here that pipeline data serialization to the disk doesn't work unless you have new JBoss marshalling version.
Right, that's something I have identified, and I find some pull requests. Could you please share this link to pull request with me?
Yeah, right. I just put it to the status document.
Okay, thank you.
I still share my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you can just go there and pick a version from there. But yeah, before that, it just doesn't make sense to test pipeline. There were some changes integrated on the core side, but yeah, I believe that 2150X actually it should include all Java 11 patches we know about. So if you run tests against the release candidate for the new LTS baseline, technically it should be working with Java 11 fine, unless we discover something new. And if we want to run Java 11 now, how would we do it? I mean, for example, take your pull request. How do we spin it up in Java 11? So maybe we could help with fixing particular issues.
Right. I put together a Jenkins file in a way so it actually builds both on Java 8 and Java 11. So I'm looking at the pull request verification and seeing at the CI Jenkins IO is probably the preferred way. Except for that, there is a way how to launch it locally, just in case you would like to experiment or quickly iterate locally. But I'm afraid this is not documented anywhere, so I will just put it into the pull request so people can have a look.
So if you could do that, it would be really helpful. If I understand correctly, Ramon tried running it yesterday and experienced issues with that. Is that right?
Right. I check out the Oliver branch, ran the Docker image, enter in the Docker image and said run some scripts. The script that set up the environment and the RAM ESH script, and I had some failures. So I this one exactly. I just wondering how to set up all the environment and the test to help with this.
Right. As I said, until yesterday, we were stuck that some even more essential thing didn't work. So I got some real progress on that last night and this morning. So it required some changes because there was no way to provide this, enable unsupported Java or whatever is the option name to actually provide this to Jenkins. So I get it's news since this morning or something. So I have updated the description of the pull request, which hopefully enough of an instruction of how to run this. But of course, if there are any questions, just shoot and I can improve the documentation if needed.
Okay, and just a second, I'm refreshing the page. Oh yeah. So enable future Java, Firefox, LTS. Do we also need to pass specific environment for Java 11? Because if I recall correctly, so at least PCT tests fail if you do not pass models. How does it work with Java 11? I mean, how does it work with acceptance test harness?
Well, I haven't discovered any such problems, and the test suite is running right now.
Okay.
So.
Enable future Java, Jenkins ops. But is it possible to pass Java ops to acceptance test harness?
Yeah, Jenkins ops wasn't possible until today, and there is Jenkins _Java _ops for options for JVM.
Yeah, Jenkins Java ops for JVM. So yeah, most likely it will be needed. Yeah, most likely we will need these things in order to run correctly. Okay, I just added it to the command. And do we have any specific test categories which would you recommend to run against Java 11?
Well, I'm trying to to have everything run against that and see how far it goes. As I said, this is the first decent run we've got running, so we haven't even got anywhere close to actually, evaluating what was working or not. In Jenkins Core, we have this, what is it called, smoke test category, which is a very small subset of core-based tests. So I guess it would be a very nice low-hanging fruit to get running against core once we actually make sure that it makes sense.
The other advantage is that smoke tests are relatively small.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, 10 tests or less.
It takes maybe 5 minutes. So just a second, I'll show how to get it. So there is essentials YAML file here, and effectively defines the smoke test category.
Sorry, like you don't seem to be sharing the screen, or are you?
I do.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
Okay. So yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so profile run smoke tests, or if you use essentials YAML, something like that. Yeah, it should enable this smoke tests. Yeah. So yeah, with that, it should be possible to run it locally and maybe explore some problems. So for example, we know that plugins like Jenkins Core will likely fail. And most likely Kubernetes as well. So if there are ATH tests to confirm that, it would be nice.
Right, I presume that we will get quite a lot of input on what does and doesn't work. So I'm wondering, what's the preferred way to communicate back to platform-sig?
So what we have in JEP 200, JEP 211, not JEP 200. So here we have testing section, and there is a Google Doc, which actually contains all the tests we're about running. So now it's pretty much empty. But yeah, what we were doing for JEP 200 and what makes sense to do it here, if you hit any issues, just put it to this Google Doc. And yeah, if you submit tickets, link it from there so that we have a kind of central document for issues we discover.
Right, so we'll try to feed it with heroes.
So if you report it here, just make sure to add your name so that we know whom to contact. Yeah, and we also got plugin compatibility tests framework running, so we will be also updating some results here soon. Effectively, what I want to get in the end, JEP 2000, I believe. So in JEP 2000, there is also testing, and there should be JEP 200 testing notes. So it's a pretty big document we created together with JCGleek and some other testers. It's what we were testing and updating before the JEP 200 release in weekly. So yeah, something like 20 pages, but yeah, each document is rather something like that. So what we hit, what's linked if applicable, pull request, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, for JEP 200, we had to update a lot of plugins because ancient plugin forms didn't support it. Right. I suspect we will hit pretty much the same for JEP 211 when we run PCT. But for acceptance test hardness, it shouldn't be a problem. It should be able to run existing tests without modification. So yeah, if you hit anything, just put it to the document.
Right.
If you want, I can give you edit permissions so that you can just patch the document.
It would be good.
Should I also give permissions to Lucia?
Yeah, please do.
So I have only her Red Hat email, and yeah, I'll also give access to Ramon. I will likely need your Gmail account link, so I'll also give you access later.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So we can just use this document in order to report everything and sync up with that. And yeah, actually, one questions I also had left is how we can help. So, for example, if you know about any tasks in addition to testing and exploration, just let us know so that we can report them in Jenkins Jira and maybe help to get some tasks over the fence.
Yeah, I mean, speaking for myself, this certainly helps. More guidance of what to do, how to proceed would definitely be good. Unfortunately, I do not have enough information for what are the specific areas when the ATH would need need help, because as I said, we only get it running this morning. But I presume that we would have that tomorrow or something like that, so we can get our hands dirty later.
Okay, so what we could start working instead. So there is some understanding what needs to be done on ATH, but we also have Jenkins infra pipeline library. So current Jenkins Core. So in Jenkins Core, we have enabled the Jenkins test harness for Java 11, but we didn't enable acceptance test harness so far because we depend on this run ATH step. And the advantage of this run ATH step is that actually it allows pinning version. So for example, since you are doing patches in your repository, it would be possible to just GitHub, Jenkins. So here you may see that there is essentials test YAML, and that there is a ATH revision. So probably one of the things we could take to help is to try creating another ATH step for Java 11 and looking whether we can update run ATH to run with this step. So it's effectively Jenkins file, and yeah, run ATH is here. What do you think about it, Ramon?
Okay, it's interesting.
So generally, while we wait for the first run,
Right. I guess one thing we would have to do is to update the ATH revision to version that actually supports the Selenium tree, because I suspect that the tests are just failing all the time without it. So this is something to review, whether the core build is actually have a healthy run of ATH, just failing for something terrible. So we can update it to at least give it a chance to succeed, if even if it wouldn't really work for 11. And I'm just browsing through the run ATH just to verify whether we need to change anything on the first place. There is a chance that it would actually pick the changes in the pull request in ATH I've got open. So it would actually consume that and test against both versions. It would probably be the best.
Yeah, right. So if you cannot merge your pull request, it may be something which would help to get it running. Jenkins file, and yeah, Oliver merged with Selenium 3 is needed. Okay, so this is something we can start working on now, and yeah, it still allows exploring it and maybe discovering more issues. And once you have this first run finished, yeah, I believe we could sync up on Monday then, and I think what needs to be done there, because yeah, most likely many tests will fail right now, because if you run without pipeline patch, all pipeline tests will fail for sure. Probably it's also subject to update, because yeah, we can update your pull request in order to integrate models.
Right. There's one other thing I can think of, like you might recall, there is a pull request or pipeline library to actually permit it to run against both versions. I mean, several versions of Java and different version of Jenkins, which is one thing that we haven't really followed on.
So update run ATH to support multiple versions of Java.
I'm sorry, that's not what I'm talking about. I guess that's the pipeline library. And then we have, what is it, build plugin? Or which one is the one we have modified?
Oh, you mean getting this pull request over the fence?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it right now.
Well, there is a ticket in Jenkins Jira for finalizing it. I'll make sure it is linked correctly. Over the fence. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. There doesn't seem to be, any objections and interesting discussion. I'm sorry, I might not see your comments there, but the point is that what would certainly help me to finish this is to have a way how to get it tested, or what was the process of getting it actually deployed to CI Jenkins IO?
Okay. So there is no process for that, unfortunately. But yeah, there is an instance of demo Jenkins config as code. So effectively, this demo reflects configuration of CI Jenkins IO, because it was specifically designed to run build plugin. And when we were working on the hackathons, I created a branch for Java 11 support. So this branch actually includes JDK 10, 11 images. And if you want to test the script, there are guidelines how to actually test that. So developing pipeline libraries. So you can pass your local location of the pipeline library and run with it.
Yeah, I guess this is what we use at the hackathon, and this is where we develop that. So
yeah, so
you're confident about a fix. So can we just ask Tyler to merge this and deploy?
Yeah, technically I can do that. So I'll review it today.
Yeah.
So I did some initial testing. It seemed to be working for me fine. So yeah, to review the pull request. Yeah, technically I and Raul are currently maintainers. So yeah, I'll just do that.
Right, so this will permit us to actually test individual plugins against Java 11.
Yeah, right. So even now we can technically do that, but yeah, it requires some hacks. So label verifier, we are running overtime a bit. Is it fine with you guys?
Sorry, come again?
So it's already beyond the meeting schedule. But yeah, it should be fine. So this patch already allows running it, but yeah, we need to somehow support both versions. And yeah, here what Oliver implemented in this pull request. So yeah, I believe it can be merged right now. But yeah, I'll double check and then provide review feedback.
It would be great. I guess there is a white space. Ignoring diff that is not all that scary. And
Yep.
one thing I'd like to do is just add some documentation so people can discover it and find how to use it. So this is something I haven't done for now, and I'm taking the action item.
Okay. So generally, this pull request is also in the list of blockers for J in Jenkins Weekly. So we should get it over the fence. Yeah. So I believe that's it. So we have some tasks we definitely need to do to get all these stories over the fence. Then yeah, I believe that yeah, we'll need to do all of that. Ramon, do you have any questions about these tasks? So maybe we could clarify some things together.
Yes, indeed. I have a lot of questions about this task.
Okay, bring them on.
Because I have no too much context about the ATH, so I will need some help with this. Perhaps after the meeting, I can sing with you or even with Raul, that knows a lot about ATH, to try to help me. Because now I feel a bit lost.
Okay, so let's sync up after the meeting. And yeah, what would be the best channel for us to communicate? Is it RC or Gitter? Oliver, what do you prefer?
Well, I don't feel strongly. I'm not yet on Gitter, so I guess that's something I'll have to do.
Okay, so let's just use Jenkins then. It's Jenkins. RC.
That would certainly work. I understand that there is quite a lot we managed to cover with Oleg. I mean, I sort of envy Oleg that he managed to understand all that and keep track of all this. So definitely, Oleg, thank you for bringing all this effort. Because I have no idea how would it work without you. So I do understand that there's quite a lot to cover. So perhaps it would help you guys if we, I don't know, narrow the scope where you can actually help.
Yeah, so we will review these tasks and try to break them down somehow. So there are many people on this call, and yeah, let's see how we can organize together.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Yeah, and thanks a lot for doing all this work with acceptance test harness. Yeah, it should really help. And yeah, this thing we also need to integrate, of course. Okay. Do we have anything else to discuss for now?
I'm afraid we don't. Just one single question. Do we have a follow-up for this?
Follow-up meeting?
Yeah.
Or what? So I believe everybody needs to stomach the information a bit. So let's try doing something next week. But I'm not sure. Do you have any preferences about the date?
I would say that similar time works for me almost every day.
Oh, that's cool. So yeah, probably we could just set sync up maybe even on Monday or Tuesday to review ATH test run results together.
Tuesday works for me.
Okay, so Tuesday it is then. So it will just help us to understand what's left on the quality side for that. or maybe even Wednesday, because I would also like to involve Kevin. It's one of engineers working with test automation and test quality bars. But yeah, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. Most likely we will need to rerun ATH with pipeline flux by this time. But yeah, if we do that, there should be some information for discuss. Sure.
Right.
Okay. So I'll set a meeting to Tuesday, and then yeah, let's see whether we need more sync-ups. But yeah, in general, we'll try to keep these meetings short. Sorry for running over time at this meeting. Okay, so thanks a lot to you guys. I will stop the recording then now, and yeah, thanks again. Thanks.
Thank
Especially
you.
thanks Oliver, Ramon, Adrian.
Thank you very much, Oliver.
Talk to you soon.
Mm-hmm.